Today's video is an all-day Sunday meal prep with me. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jessica, and here on my channel, we focus on all things home life, whether that's cooking, cleaning, or organizing, but everything we do in this space has a bit of a healthy twist, as I'm a holistic nutritionist and a nutritional practitioner. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, I would love it if you would take 2 seconds, open up the description box down below and hit the big red subscribe button. That way you don't miss a single video. I'm so excited to share these recipes with you guys. They are chocked full of nutrition. Most of them are extremely plant heavy and plant based. So if you're looking for some extra nutrition that you can throw together on your next meal prep, then keep on watching. We're gonna get started with preparing some staples. So I'm going to be cooking some quinoa, about 2 cups for the week. And I always get asked what quinoa I use and I prefer, and we actually love the quinoa from Costco. The Kirkland's quinoa I find cooks up the best, and it actually has the best flavor. After I get the quinoa going, I'm gonna chop up some root vegetables to bake up to have throughout the week. I've said this over and over again in my meal prep videos, but my approach to meal prepping is prepping ingredients versus necessarily throwing together full meals. I do a little bit of both, but I find the most success when I prep certain ingredients together that I can have in the refrigerator. That way, if you're busy at lunch or it's been a long day and you want to throw together a dinner, you have these healthy and nutritious things already made up for you in your refrigerator that you can toss together on a pan or in a baking sheet to reheat, and they come together beautifully. So I like to have some grains every single week. I likewise like to have some roasted vegetables, some fresh pre-chopped vegetables, anything that I can have on hand when we're in a pinch. If you're a subscriber, then this next recipe won't be no surprise to you, but I love to throw together veggie loaded baked goods. So whether that's waffles, pancakes, muffins, or bars, I love to have these on hand. They're great in the morning to serve at breakfast with a green smoothie or a green juice. They're also a great mid-morning, mid-afternoon snack when your kids, or to be honest with you, when you, mama, are having a sweet tooth, to have these nutrient-dense snacks on hand. So we're putting together some carrot cake quinoa breakfast bars. These are so yummy and so delicious. There's carrots, there's chickpeas, there's eggs, some applesauce, some bananas. There's some really nutrient-dense ingredients in here, and it's all mixed together with quinoa flour. So we have protein, we have amino acids, iron, potassium, and an incredible source of plant fiber. So you can feel really good about serving this to your kids for breakfast as a midday snack or something for them as a snack in the afternoon. We love these recipes because it's a great way to have that insurance policy that you have extra nutrition that you're getting into your children. And that way you know that their snacks are nutrient dense and something that you can feel happy about feeding to your entire family. Make sure you check out the description box down below for the full instructions, measurements, and ingredients for all of the recipes that I'm sharing today. I will have everything outlined as far as measurements and exact quantities, so you can check that out and find it easy to follow along. By this point, our quinoa is done, so I'm going to pull that off of the oven and allow that to cool. In the meantime, I'm going to check on our roasted vegetables to ensure those are done so that I can use the oven to put together the carrot cake breakfast bars. I want to let you guys know that I've also scooped these breakfast bars onto a silicone-lined baking mat and made them into breakfast cookies, and they're equally as delicious. I've done them both ways. I like them both about the same, but I did want to show you my original recipe as breakfast bars today. So feel free, but if you do make them as cookies, I would just reduce your time by about 5 minutes. So I would do 23 minutes versus the 28 minutes. After they're done, go ahead and pull them out. Go ahead and put a fork or a pick in them to see if it comes out clean, and then you'll know that they're done. I do like to let these sit at room temperature for about 10 minutes before I pop it up, slice them, and store them in an airtight container into the refrigerator. By now, my quinoa has completely cooled, so I'm going to go ahead and scoop that into a glass dish to have in the fridge throughout the week. Now moving on to your new favorite springtime lunch salad, and just trust me on this, it's a cabbage, cucumber, green bean salad that is so delicious and so easy to throw together. So I'm going to wash up some green beans. I'm going to trim off the stems and any parts that aren't looking great because, to be honest with you, this is what was left at Whole Foods. I'm going to quickly steam them. Honestly, I do it for about 3 to 5 minutes. I'd like to steam them for right around 3 minutes more than I do to 5. Just get them nice and bright and green because I still like them to have a little bit of crunch. So while those are steaming, keep a close eye on them and start to chopping up your other vegetables. We're going to be adding in some purple cabbage, which is amazing and such an excellent source of vitamin C, which I'm pretty sure all of us are looking to get right now into our diet. And then I'm going to be adding in some cucumber. I like to use like an English cucumber, or to be honest with you, the Persian cucumbers from Trader Joe's are delicious in this as well. And then an onion. I didn't have a red onion, but I do prefer a red onion in this recipe, but I used a sweet onion and it was equally delicious. The salad tends to last me 3 to 4 days in the refrigerator. However, I am preparing this on a Sunday and we were cooking out, so we actually only had it on Sunday and Monday because it was such a big hit. I love dill. It reminds me of ranch dressing. I'm an 80s baby and grew up on all things ranch dressing. So whenever I put dill in a recipe, it's very nostalgic. So I put a lot of dill in this recipe. And when you combine it with your olive oil and your cider vinegars, it comes together so delicious. I also like to add a lot of fresh garlic, which I'm sure you saw. But this recipe is just no muss, no fuss, easy to throw together, full of nutrition, and a huge hit with the entire family. We're moving into the world's easiest quinoa and chickpea tortillas. These are so simple to put together. However, you do have to be very careful with your measurements because the dough is incredibly sticky. And so you want to be conscious that you're following the recipe to a T along with the water. So you're going to use some quinoa flour, some garbanzo flour, some psyllium husk, and about 3/4 cup of water. You're going to toss all of this together, throw it on a skillet, and then you're going to pan fry it up until it makes a crunchy taco-like consistency. I will say if you're using the brown unbleached parchment paper for this part of the recipe, you will want to sprinkle some flour on it ahead of time. And to be honest with you, even if you're using regular parchment paper, you could sprinkle it with a little bit of flour to ensure that the tortillas come off easily. When you're working with this dough, it is so sticky, so you want to have wet hands and a lot of extra quinoa or chickpea flour around so that doesn't stick to everything. Also, the dough should be crumbly, almost like a cracker dough. So if it's really pliable and wet, that means that you've added too much water. So go ahead and sprinkle in a little bit more quinoa or chickpea flour. Now I've gone ahead and mixed together some ghee and avocado oil to pan fry them in because I feel like it gives them the best flavor. After you fry these, you could also cut them into tortillas or crackers to put on a salad, but they were a huge hit in my family and the kids love these. Moving on to our next recipe, and I don't know why I do this, but I always save the best for last, and that is a carrot honey oat loaf. It literally tastes like an artisanal bread from a bakery. However, it is gluten-free, it is chocked full of nutrition, and it has a vegetable in it. So what more could you ask for? So I am using oat flour, which I've gone ahead and just made out of some gluten-free oats. I'm adding that together with some baking soda, some baking powder. I'm mixing all of my dry ingredients before I toss in an egg. And this is the point where I also will mix in the carrots. The secret ingredient of this recipe is yogurt, which gives it that dense bread taste. Now I am using Greek dairy yogurt, which is kind of surprising. You typically see me use coconut yogurt, which does work as well, but make sure that it's a really thick yogurt. So if you are using a plant-based yogurt, just make sure that it's really thick, or you will want to go ahead and add in some extra fiber like psyllium husk or additional ground flax seeds to ensure that it has the right texture. This smells and tastes delicious. So I actually used to work for Kind Snacks right before Sawyer was born, and this smells like their oats and honey bars and granola the entire time I was baking it. I was having complete nostalgia. So the coconut oil in here gives it like a buttery, rich taste. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this in a loaf pan that's lined with parchment paper. You can do it in a well-greased loaf pan. I just find that the parchment paper makes it a little bit easier for me to flop out and let it immediately cool on a wire rack. If you only try one recipe from this whole video, this should be the one. You can go ahead and toast it in the morning in the toaster oven, put some nut butter or sun butter or a little bit of honey and jam on it, and it will be a huge hit with your entire family. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and if you've liked this video, you can let me know by giving it a big thumbs up, and then let me know in the comment section down below what recipes you're most excited to try, and then what are some of your favorite recipes you throw together during your Sunday meal prep. Thank you again, and if you like this sort of content, the subscribe button is right over here. Now give that a click, that way you don't miss a single video, and I hope to see you back here next Thursday.